Born May 19th, 1925 in Omaha, Nebraska, to Earl and Louise Little, Malcolm Little was the name given to him by his parents. He was the fourth child of 8. His father, Earl, was a preacher who was a local activist for the African American community. He was a member of the local chapter of the Universal Negro Improvement Association. Because of his father's activism, the family was always in harm's way from white supremacist groups such as the KKK. Malcolm was younger. He remembered men coming to the house shouting with rifles and guns, asking his father to come out. The harassment continued. When Malcolm was 4 years old, the local Klan members smashed out his family's windows. To protect the family, Earl moved from Omaha to Milwaukee in 1926, and then to Lansing, Michigan in 1928. However, the racism the family encountered in Lansing proved even greater than Omaha. Shortly after the Littles moved in, a racist mob set their house on fire in 1929, and the town's all-white emergency responders refused to do anything. The white police and firemen came and stood after watching at the house burn down, Malcolm said. 2 years later, in 1939, Earl Little's body was discovered laying across streetcars by the municipal building. The authorities ruled his death as a streetcar accident, even though the black community of Michigan believed that it was white supremacists that did it. Malcolm's mother never got over the murder and could never make enough to support the family by herself, and later she was committed to a mental institution in 1937. Malcolm and his siblings were all put in foster care system after that. In 1938, Malcolm attended Mason High School in Michigan. He excelled there and was liked by many of his classmates and was later elected class president. Even at a young age, Malcolm demonstrated roles of a leader, which is a skill that would make him an influential black activist later on in his life. During his time at Mason High School, Malcolm learned a sad fact and what it meant to be black in America. In 1939, his teacher asked him what he wanted to be when he grew up. He had told the teacher he wanted to be a lawyer. His teacher said that one of his life's first needs was to be realistic. You need to think about something you can do. Why don't you become a carpenter? The teacher told him. Being told this crushed his dreams and caused Malcolm to take a nosedive. He later dropped out of school at the age of 15, and there was no point to continue on. After dropping out, Malcolm moved in with his sister in Boston. He there took up a life of crime. He started selling drugs and pimping out women. And in 1946, he was arrested with charges of larceny and sentenced to 10 years in state jail. While he was in prison, he devoured through books in the library. There he came across a man from the Nation of Islam. This man taught him the ideology of the great Elijah Muhammad, and this drove Malcolm to join the Nation of Islam. And once out of jail, he worked under Elijah Muhammad. Soon he started preaching at his own temples. And he told people that to reach the revolution that was needed, you don't need to turn the other cheek, that this revolution wasn't going to be peaceful, and that we need to fight back, which was a counter to what drove a wedge between him and Dr. King. Dr. King saw that the revolution would be made through peaceful resolutions, while Malcolm saw that violence was the only way to reach this revolution. Over time, Malcolm kept preaching, and he soon started seeing the horrors that Elijah Muhammad was doing to women through his extramarital affairs. This broke up the relationship between the two. Malcolm decided that he was going to go to Mecca, where he can get more spiritual helping. There in Saudi Arabia, he saw brotherhood. He saw men from all different walks and races together, and this led him to a new philosophy. And he brought this to America, thinking that we can achieve revolution through peace. And this was eventually his ultimate demise. February 21st, 1965, while preaching to some of his gatherers, he was assassinated. His life will always go on. His legacy will be remembered. He will be remembered for the strides he did try to make for African American rights in the 1960s. And we will always celebrate his birthday, May 19th, every year.
Going to Mecca and going into the Muslim world, into the African world, and being recognized and accepted as a Muslim and as a brother may solve the problem for me personally. But I personally feel that my personal problem is never solved as long as the problem is not solved for all of our people in this country. So I remain Malcolm X as long as there is a need to protest and struggle and fight against the injustices that our people are involved in this country.